Last time on Dragon Ball Z, Bardock, the father of Goku, passed away after an arduous battle against Cell. His legacy lives on in his son and grandson, Goku and Gohan. Following the battle, Goku was challenged by Android 16, an android originally created to kill him but reformed thanks to Bardock and Capsule Corp. This marked the first battle in the 7-year gap of peace. Meanwhile, Bardock arrived in heaven, finally being accepted after many years of repenting. Bardock was reunited with his wife, Gine. During the 7 years, they even welcomed a new person, old Grandpa Gohan. He had passed away of old age, but he said he had no regrets. But times of peace never last, and a new enemy lurks over the horizon. Welcome back, Bardock! The whole Z team assembles. What if Bardock went to Earth with Goku, Part 4.
Oh, you two are sweet, but only you two should go. I got to spend a lot more time with them, and Baba said that your time is already cut short because she's taking 2 people.
Thanks, old Gohan. I promise, next time it'll be you going to see Kakarot.
It's time for the tournament. After a few months of arduous training, Vegeta, Goku, and Gohan, along with the rest of the Z fighters, enter. Goku has been pretty adamant about the fights, so both Goten and Gohan have gotten a good bit of training in. Gohan has left behind his Saiyan armor and gifted it to Goten, the one that his grandpa had given him. It is a little big on him, but he loves it. Goku was able to turn into Super Saiyan 2, and they know that Goten's at the verge of it. Occasionally, Goku and Vegeta's families come together to train. The two dads have had momentous fights that rock the earth, making each other much stronger. Goten insists that his dad is stronger. Something only Goku knows, however, is that a special guest will be coming down to see them this day. In fact, 2 guests. As the team gathers together to enter the tournament, they hear the sound of Uranai Baba teleporting in. Goku taps on Goten, turning him around. Gine threw her arms around Goten and Gohan, hugging them tightly. After she let go, she approached her son. This was the first time ever meeting him. She said that Bardock has told her everything about him, and that she was very proud. She whispers in his ear, thanking him that it's because of him that Bardock ended up in heaven. Goku blushed and laughed, hugging his mom. He thanked her for everything and was very happy to finally meet her. Gine let go and punched her son softly on the chest, telling them to win the tournament. Chi-Chi joined in, telling Goku that there's no way he's going to lose. Gine and Chi-Chi celebrated in song, but they were interrupted by Vegeta. He smirked and said that they'd have to get through him first. Gine freaked out as she saw the prince kneeling before him. But Vegeta and Trunks turned around, walking away. Bulma helped Gine up and told her to ignore them. Gohan also introduced his grandparents to Videl, who wondered why they looked so young. Gine was about to explain, but Gohan interrupted, saying that they have very good vegetables where he's from. The team headed towards the tournament, and at the signing station, they met up with Piccolo, Krillin, 18, 17, and 16. Android 16 was very happy to see Bardock, and thanked him for saving them. Looking over at 17 and 18, Bardock smiled. He had been the one to get them out of Cell. The androids and Krillin now lived on an island not too far away from Kame House. Krillin admitted that it could be rough at times. Because of their Saiyan DNA, they were quite aggressive, but 16 was always able to calm them down. Bardock asked where Raditz was, and Goku said that him and Nappa would be meeting them after the tournament. Though she didn't plan to at first, Bardock convinced Gine to join the tournament. After all, she was once part of his squadron. Gine was hesitant but agreed, just for this special occasion. Even 17 and 18 joined. They all entered, but they were approached by a mysterious being. Unbeknownst to him, this was the Kaioshin and his tenant. Eventually, the adult tournament began. Videl found herself in a fight against Popovich, and although she impressed everyone with her powers, Popovich showed off the strength he shouldn't have. Gohan began to become enraged, his power rising higher and higher. Goku and the Kaioshin tried to stop him, but neither Bardock nor Gine comprehended why. In one of the few moments of infighting within the family, Bardock pushed right through Kaioshin and Goku. Kaioshin's eyes widened. He was insulted but surprised at just how powerful Gohan and Bardock were. Bardock shoved his grandson, yelling at him. Goku tried to tell Bardock to calm down and to listen to the Kaioshin, but Bardock told him to shut up, yelling at Gohan that if he cares about this girl, then he will help her. If it was Gine in this situation, he would do just that. Gohan roared and his power exploded, pushing everyone back. He rushed in, punching Popovich out of the ring. This prompted Yambu to instantly jump in, while Gohan helped Videl up. He was stabbed with the Keely collecting machine. This Gohan is stronger than he otherwise would be because of all his training with Goku and the rest, and while in rage, his ki rises. Yamu manages to collect more Keely than he thought. Goku jumped in to attack Yamu, but this time Shin stopped him. They needed to see where they would go. He helps Popovich up, and they started to go towards Babidi's ship. Kaioshin told Bardock to hope that this wasn't enough energy to revive Buu, but Bardock said that this wasn't his fault. That girl was going to die. Kaioshin explained that he didn't care who this man was, and that this was much bigger than him. He then enlisted the help of Kakarot and the rest, knowing that he can't stop Majin Buu alone. Kakarot agreed, saying that he'll just get a sense beam for Videl. He could explain on the way there. Gine was the lone warrior to stay behind. She knew she couldn't stand up against them, though she made Bardock and Kakarot promise that they returned safely. Gohan hugged his grandma tightly before departing. Gine promised Chi-Chi to get her prize money. Goku, Gohan, Bardock, 17, 18, 16 Piccolo, Krillin, Shin, and Kibito all headed towards Babidi's ship. Hiding behind a rock, they witnessed Babidi kill his minions. The Demon King disappeared and reappeared not in front of Kibito, but rather Android 16. To everyone's horror, they watched as pieces of their friend flew past them in an explosion. 17 and 18 quickly turned to attack Dabura, but he simply jumped backwards, spitting on Piccolo and Krillin. Shin and Gohan were shaken by this. So much death and destruction in a matter of seconds. Shin told them that there was no time to waste. They needed to stop Babidi.
I swear, I'm gonna make that Demon King pay no matter what.
Soon enough, the Z Fighters entered the ship. Vegeta battles Pui Pui, while Kakarot kills Yakon. Vegeta was tired of this. He just wanted to go home. Unlike the original story, he has already had plenty of chances to battle Goku and settle down. Therefore, he's just bored, not eager to return to his old ways, just for a battle against Kakarot. Once Dabura appeared, the androids pushed their way to the front. The battle against Dabura, the Demon King, began without a single word. They are very powerful, but the demon could keep up with his various tricks. Through it all, he realized their anger, their aggressiveness. Dabura disappeared out of the room, and it returned to normal. Dabura explained to Babidi what he saw, that these two androids seemed like perfect candidates for allies. They were after all created with a lot of Saiyan cells, making them violent. Without Android 16 to calm them down, well... Meanwhile, Gine and Mr. Satan were set up to be the final combatants for the tournament. Gine was ready to defeat him, smiling brightly. Mr. Satan was confident that he could win, and thus it began. With Mr. Satan rolling in and punching her in the chest. It didn't work, and Gine was confused, but she thought that it was funny. Back at the ship, 17 and 18 began to scream out in pain. Kaioshin recognized what was happening and tried to stop it, with Gohan pleading at Android 18, but to no avail. There was a huge rise in power, and both 17 and 18's forehead were marked with an M. They had no choice but to battle. Babidi teleported everyone to the side of the hill, where the androids originally met, the Z Fighters. They could still see Dr. Jiro's destroyed lab not too far away. Kaioshin explained to them that the more they fought, the stronger Majin Buu would be, and the faster he'd be revived. 17 clenched his fist.
I don't care. Don't you see, Bardock? This isn't just an opportunity to seek revenge against this Buu guy, but we can also finally fulfill our programming to defeat you and Kakarot.
The battle started, and the rest couldn't do anything but watch. These powered-up 17 and 18 were incredible, and both Kakarot and Bardock were having trouble. Even when Bardock showed off his new Super Saiyan 2, Vegeta told Gohan to hurry and either head back to the tournament or help the Kaioshin with Majin Buu. When they were about to rush away, Dabura appeared in front of them. In response, Vegeta burst into a Super Saiyan 2 and slammed his fist against the Demon King. Now the three great Super Saiyans battled the three most powerful serpents of Babidi. Every punch, every kick, every sweat drop, and every bloodshed giving life to Majin Buu. In the meantime, Mr. Satan bribed Gine into losing. She made him promise that the money would all go to Chi-Chi, and Satan agreed. He threw a punch right through her jaw, but the confused Gine didn't realize that was her cue. When the whole place went silent, she finally realized. Oh, and acted as if she was hit so hard that she went flying out of the tournament arena altogether. Gohan watched in disbelief at just how powerful all of them had become. He clenched his fist, realizing that he needed to get on their level. Kibito asked if it was wise for them to leave, and Gohan said that he wasn't sure. Vegeta's Super Saiyan 2 proved to be a good match against Dabura, who was being pushed back as Vegeta smashed his sword apart. The Demon King couldn't believe it, as androids 17 and 18 expanded their auras to push Bardock and Goku away. They were not going to allow Vegeta to be the one to kill Dabura, so 17 punched him out of the way. The twins blasted down, killing the Demon King. Vegeta and Kakarot swooped in to continue the fight, while Bardock smiled brightly. He was very proud. Finally, Krillin and Piccolo arrive, having been freed from Dabura's magic. Krillin's eyes widened, watching 18 blast at Kakarot. He couldn't allow this fight to happen. He yells out at his wife, telling her that Android 16 would have never wanted this, that they had changed and didn't need to follow Jiro's programming anymore. Did you really fight all of this to get rid of your programming? Just to be controlled by another weird old man? 18, 17, please. This finally struck a chord with the androids. 18 kissed Krillin, as the Saiyans finally got a chance to rush out towards Majin Buu. Once everyone arrived, they watched in horror as he escaped out of the egg. Gohan hadn't listened to Vegeta. Instead, he just had Kibito go towards the tournament, while he went back and helped Kaioshin against Buu. He was stronger than anything anyone imagined, even Babidi himself. In fact, he was so powerful that he couldn't even control him anymore. 18 and 17 realized this, and actually killed Babidi, who was struggling to keep his magic on Buu. To calm him down a little bit, they couldn't believe they were tricked into being subordinates once again. But this was a losing battle for sure. Piccolo and Krillin rushed towards the tournament arena, where they explained everything. Without much of a choice, Bulma and the others agreed to look for the Dragon Balls, just in case. Krillin says there's no time, and that all they can do is get the Dragon Radar and wait to see what happens with Buu. Kibito helps everyone get to their respective locations by teleporting. Majin Buu's fight came to a standstill when Bardock jumped in the way of an attack coming towards Gohan. He spat out blood and looked up at his grandson. Bardock said that he'd probably want a new armor at this point. Gohan helped him up, saying that they needed to get out of there. They couldn't win, but Vegeta knew that they weren't going to be able to just escape out of there.
Leave that to us. That Babidi tried to make us do his dirty work. This is something we're doing of our own free will. You kids, I promised 16 I'd save you, and I will do it again. Whatever, old man. Just make sure he gets back. Now go!
Bardock nodded at them, as Gohan helped Bardock fly towards the lookout. Everyone followed. Behind them, they heard an explosion, but they couldn't look back. They arrived at the lookout. Majin Buu stepped over 2 pieces of chocolate in the shape of the androids, eating them. Now it was time to quench his hunger. At the lookout, Bardock was healed by Dende. They were all quiet, until Nappa and the Briefs arrived. Nappa was happy to see that everyone was okay, and heard what was happening on the news. People have been killed all over the world. He was going to meet up with everyone post-tournament. But what about Raditz? That's when, from out of the time chamber, Raditz steps out. His armor shattered. He had been training by himself for a while, and lost track of time. Now he realized he was late, but glad to see his dad. He asked what was going on. In this story, Bardock was in heaven, and though he trained, he didn't have the same interactions Goku did. Therefore, there is no knowledge of fusion. Kaioshin has the idea of taking Gohan over to the Kaioshin realm to train while he can. Bardock realizes that Gine isn't around, and he starts to freak out. If she dies while she's dead, then she won't exist anymore. He focused on her key, and finally finds it. It's close to Buu. Without much of a choice, and despite everyone trying to stop him, he teleports away. She's standing outside of Buu's house, waiting for someone. Gine and Bardock are glad to see each other. She explains that her and Mr. Satan have been taking care of Buu for a little bit now, and she actually liked him a lot too. Bardock told her that she was insane for sticking around, but she insisted on staying. She couldn't fight Buu. The least she could do was buy them some time. Bardock kissed her, and he reluctantly let her go. He teleported back to the lookout. Gohan had gone over to the Kaioshin realm, but they couldn't simply stick around and do nothing, especially while Bardock and Gine's time was running out. It was decided that Vegeta and Goku would enter the Room of Spirit in time. They couldn't stay there for long, and the rest would guard the lookout. Bardock just hoped that one of their plans would work, but if neither Gohan nor Goku could defeat Buu, then... Bardock spent a lot of time with Krillin, comforting him about 18. He related to losing someone he loved. He also spent time with Chi-Chi, Raditz, Goten, and even Trunks. He would tell them stories about the Saiyans. He was surprised to see how little the kids feared, and even envied them. Eventually, Yamcha, Piccolo, Nappa, Raditz, and Bulma went out to look for the Dragon Balls. They saw so much death and destruction through their travels, and warned as many people as they could about it. Thankfully, They never really crossed paths with the monster. Finally, they arrived back with a full set of Dragon Balls. Bardock was glad to see them okay, but the celebrations were short-lived, as he felt a presence zoom towards them. It was Gine holding Mr. Satan and Majin Buu on their tail. Buu felt a lot stronger. Bardock told everyone to stay at the lookout, hide, while him, Raditz, and Nappa would go check it out. They catch up with Gine, who explains that Buu somehow split into two, just to be reformed into a stronger, worse Buu. The three Saiyans have no choice but to defend the lookout. If this line of defense fails, they can't afford to put Dende at risk, so he's their main protection. Buu starts to fight instinctively against them, pushing them further back and back. It's clear that Buu must have felt the powerful presence of the people he fought in his original form. The first one to fall was Nappa, absorbed into Buu. They were pushed back onto the lookout, where the rampaging Buu used Nappa's giant storm to blow the top of the lookout off completely. Bardock tried to do what he could to protect Krillin, Yamcha, and Piccolo, who were on the top, but he was only able to save Krillin. Raditz yelled at his father to try and get Kakarot. Instantly, Krillin and Bardock ran towards the door. The rest of the heroes ran through what remained of the lookout, but one by one, they were turned into chocolate. The kids, Chi-Chi, Bulma, everyone. Raditz defended them to the best he could, and he got quite a few shots in. He had achieved Super Saiyan 2, and even thought there could be something beyond, though he never got there. He did tell Kakarot about it. While defending Goten and Trunks, he was absorbed. Chi-Chi and Bulma watched in horror as her kids tried to avenge their uncle, just to be turned into chocolate. Bardock wasn't even sure if Goku and Vegeta would win at this point. Gine, Bardock, Mr. Satan, Dende, and Krillin were the only ones that remained. Krillin knocked on the door, yelling Kakarot's name. They didn't even know if they could be heard. Buu is relentless against Bardock, and he's about to throw his final punch. That's when he realizes that Bardock is defending Gine. He hesitates, realizing who this man is. The second was enough for Bardock to be saved, as Goku blasts Buu away with a powerful attack. Goku and Vegeta finally came out of the chamber. Goku told Bardock to take everyone and the Dragon Balls to wherever Gohan is. He did just that, finding himself in the Kaioshin's world. Kibito is frustrated to see so many mortals there, but Bardock tells him to shut up. Gohan explains his training with the Z-Sword. Gine is saddened to tell him that so many people died, including Goten, Chi-Chi, and Raditz. Gohan felt their ki disappear already. There was no time for grief. He had to continue his training. Gine doubted that this sword would be enough, and Gohan invites her to pick it up. She can't. Even Bardock has a bunch of struggle doing it. Gine thinks of something. They should probably test just how powerful it is, right? In this sort of situation, you can see where Goku gets his bright ideas and personality from. And of course, like the OG story, the old Kai is freed from his slumber when the Z-Sword breaks. So, shall the real training begin? Bardock thinks this is ridiculous and stupid, and he heads to Earth to help. Buu and the Saiyans battle at full steam ahead. The lookout is destroyed, but every punch shakes the Earth. A woof of dust blinds Bardock when he arrives, but once it settles, he is in disbelief. The way Kakarot and Vegeta work together is impeccable. To think that his son would be fighting alongside the Prince of all Saiyans in order to defend Earth, it's unbelievable. He didn't even want to help. It was a work of art. That's when Buu catches a glimpse of him. It was because of Bardock that he was at a disadvantage. Buu zooms towards Bardock, but Vegeta catches his leg, spins him out to the sky, where Kakarot appears above, using a spirit cannon down. Goku runs to his dad, asking him what the hell he's doing there. It's during this distracted argument that Vegeta notices something crawling towards Bardock. It's part of Buu. Vegeta pushes Bardock out of the way and blasts the piece, but the pink goo consumes his hand. The blast simply burns Vegeta. All he could do was tell Bardock to save Earth. Kakarot and Bardock screamed Vegeta's name, while Super Buu's power exploded. Now neither Goku nor Bardock could keep up. Bardock could never forgive himself for this. At one point, Buu's malicious smile stares at Kakarot in the face. Confused, the Saiyan throws a punch, which Buu catches and he spins Kakarot to the sky, just to blast him back down, the same way they had done to Buu. In the Kaioshin realm, Gohan is finally done with his training. He asks Kibito to take him to Earth, and says goodbye to his grandma. By the time he comes back, her time will have run out, so they will meet again someday. Gine turned to Dende, asking him to summon Shenron. If what they say about the Dragon Balls is true, then they need to have them on standby.
Kibito, sir, do you think I could have an armor similar to the one my grandfather wears?
Gohan arrives on the scene, where he stands in front of both his ancestors. They could barely recognize him. This was incredible. Buu is quiet, deep in thought. This powerful man before him could actually be a challenge. Gohan and Buu's fight is one of the toughest ones of them all. When neither of them seemed close to giving up, Gohan let his power get the better of him when he allowed Buu to get a few shots in to bluff, but he didn't expect him to hurt as much as they did. Gohan was sent flying to the feet of the other Saiyans. Old Kai is worried. He thinks the sum of all the power within Buu could actually be too much. Thus, he tells Kaioshin about the Potara. He has to go down there and give it to them. Once there, he yells at Goku to catch the Potara and briefly explains what they are. Gohan and Bardock are fighting Buu at the same time. Goku doesn't know who to give the Potara to. He just yells, "Catch!" But this prompts Buu to slap Gohan away to a mountain while he uses his head tentacle and trips Bardock. He steps over his chest. Buu catches the Potara and stares at it, unsure of what it is. Goku gasps, while Buu digs his foot into Bardock while laughing. This is it. Bardock is going to die. Buu put his hand out, charging up a blast. If this hits Bardock, he'll be gone forever. Buu mocks Bardock as he dangles the earring over him. Meanwhile, Gine watches in disbelief, and Uranai Baba appears. She apologizes to Kais for being in their planet, but Gine's and Bardock's time has run out. Gine yells at Baba that this can't be. Bardock has to help. The witch explains that if she doesn't get him out of there right now, he will disappear forever. That's when Gine thinks of something. She ignores Baba, turns around to face Shenron, and asks for Bardock to be brought back to life. The blast hits Bardock straight on, and it hurts immensely, but he's still there. The halo on his head disappears. He couldn't believe it, and some of his power had returned, but he still couldn't get away from under Buu, who was surprised to see that he was still alive. A persistent one, wasn't he? Buu is simply going to crush the Potara, but as he's about to do it, he feels a blast hit his hand. It's enough to make him drop the Potara. It was Gohan. Bardock puts out his hand, catches the Potara, and quickly puts it on. His body slips from under Buu's foot and towards Kakarot.
So, this is the fusion. I admit it's very powerful. Now, Majin Buu, I will show you the power of a father and a son. Call me Barlock. Yeah!
Buu wasn't impressed. This guy didn't even have blonde hair like the other ones. Thus, the battle commenced once more. Barlock was getting quite a few shots in, but the divide between the two didn't seem quite as impressive as Buu would have hoped. He wanted a real challenge now, so he told them that he was just going to absorb them. That's when Barlock really kicked things into overdrive. He kicks himself off the ground, spinning towards Buu, smashing his leg against Buu with such force that everything behind him shakes, rock formations falling apart, and far away, windows shattered. But Buu wasn't giving up just yet, and he wrapped himself around Barlock, as if trying to absorb him. That's when the fusion smirked.
This is something special I've been saving up. Kakarot tried going beyond, but his body couldn't take it. Bardock tried doing it, but he couldn't figure out the right path. Now, with the battle genius of one and the limitless potential of the other, I can finally show it off. This is Super Saiyan 3!
The aura exploded and pieces of Buu went flying off everywhere. They reformed, but he couldn't believe the amount of power he had. He was complaining about golden hair. Now there was too much of it. Buu was about to say how excited he was, but Barlock didn't give him a chance, punching him in the face. Buu's regeneration seemingly couldn't keep up with every punch. Gohan cheered on his father and grandfather from the side. The Super Saiyan 3 kicked Buu away and looked over at Gohan, smiling, shooting a thumbs up, but Gohan asked what would happen to the people within Buu. Barlock looked up to the sky, saying, "Hear that, Dende? Bring them back as soon as I'm done with this guy, and return everything to normal." Krillin and Dende hugged each other, cheering, knowing that Buu is finally done for. But Majin Buu's pink goo grew larger and larger from where he had been hit. Angrier than he'd ever been before, he was not only going to destroy the fusion, but Earth itself. He began to charge up a Kamehameha, pointed straight down to Earth. Barlock wasn't going to let that happen, and he cupped his hands to the side.
Spirit Kamehameha!
The beams clashed, but Buu's didn't stand a chance. And in an instant, Majin Buu was gone, obliterated from Earth. Nothing left of the evildoer. Gine and Mr. Satan from the other side cheered, but were honestly a little sad about Fat Buu. Gohan asked just how long this fusion thing was supposed to last, and Barlock said that it's supposed to be permanent. And as he finished the sentence, he defused. Apparently not. Soon enough, after Dende's wishes, people began to come back alive. and the world was rebuilt to be just as it was before the Buu attack. Vegeta was happy that it was finally over, and to see his family again, and so was Goku and Bardock. Mr. Satan kicked rocks, looking around where everybody was revived and teleported back to Earth. Videl hugged him tightly, and to their surprise, they also saw Fat Buu. He had been revived from within Super Buu as well, but that means that he really wasn't that bad of a guy after all, since they only revived good people. After some arguing, they decided to let Mr. Satan keep him around. But there was something missing. Bardock finally looked back, and he saw Gine. She was next to Uranai Baba, who was really tired. She clearly couldn't keep her around for much longer. But he noticed that Gine's halo wasn't gone. She was still dead. Bardock asked why she wasn't brought back, and Gine said that this wasn't her world anymore. But it was Bardock's still. It was clear that the people here loved him and needed him, telling him that Grandpa Gohan is there to keep her company, and that she'll see everyone soon enough.
Gine, all I've ever fought against was for you. I can't just leave you.
Everyone was tearful, but most of all, Kakarot and Bardock.
You're right. But we'll meet again, yeah? Just wait for me. I promise I will take care of the family.
And with one final smile, she said goodbye, disappearing into nothingness. Everyone was staring at Bardock, but he turned around, looking straight at androids 17 and 18. They were embarrassed, still thinking about their time as Majins. Bardock wiped the tears off his face and put his arms around them, telling them that they had a lot of training to do if they really thought they could stand a chance against him. The androids smiled, and Bardock nodded at Bulma, saying, "Don't you have an android to rebuild?" Excitedly, Bulma jumped to her feet, realizing that things were going to finally go back to normal again.
Gine loves you all and is excited to see you again, but my place is still here with you all. Plus, I made sure to introduce her to old Gohan while in heaven. I'm sure they have a lot to catch up on. In short, you can't get rid of me that easily, Kakarot. Now let's get some training going.
Thanks for watching, fellas. I hope you enjoyed this episode of What If Bardock Went to Earth with Goku. This is probably my most popular series after What If Goku and Vegeta Went Back in Time, and I'm really enjoying this one. A lot of you guys ask if Bardock's my favorite character because I do so many what ifs with him, and no, not at all. But that's the thing about him, right? Is that he's kind of a blank slate in a lot of cases, so he lends himself really well to a lot of stories. That's just in my mind, at least. Thank you once again to Professor Chimp. We passed around a couple of ideas. It was his idea to have the androids become Majins, actually. He was a lot of help with this one, and it was fun. I gotta give a shout out to my Super Saiyan Legend and my Super Saiyan God members of the channel. Obi-Wan Fun, Cage, Midnight Combatant, Small IQ, Kyle, Orlando Castellano, Darko Roxtansky, Zeto7, Eric, The Real Samuel Randall, Anthony Note, and Zachary Croy. Thank you so much for keeping the channel afloat. You guys rock. If you want to find out more about what it takes to become a member and some of the perks like getting to see the scripts I use in the videos, be sure to click the join button down below. Well, the Z portion of the story is finally done. If you guys want me to continue this onto Super and maybe even GT eventually somehow, be sure to leave a like, comment, and share the video. Let's try to get this video to 3,000 or 4,000. It just lets me know you guys enjoy this type of content and want to see more of it. Anyways guys, until we meet again, see ya.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to SmugStick, unless you want to be destroyed. Lord Beerus, that's hardly fair. But also, don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified when he uploads new videos.